Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Stranded Survivors. My name is Matt. I'm one of your co-hosts, and I have a special co-host here today.
Hi, I'm QC Survivor, tribesmate from the official PVE tribe.
QC, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, getting ready for Christmas, getting everything set up, going on holiday this week. Everything's great. Life's great. How about you?
Are you are you going anywhere, or are you just like staying in the area for holiday?
I'm going to Toronto, and I'm coming back home after, and then I'm going into my hometown, which is like a little country town that nobody knows about. How about you?
I mean, that's pretty cool. I'm just staying in the area. I don't really go too far. The family that I see for holidays and stuff, they don't live too far away from me, so I'll be driving like I don't know, an hour or so, maybe 2 hours to some of the bigger cities in Michigan, but nothing crazy. It's gonna be a
That's
nice little
awesome.
low key week. Up until it's always low key until the day before and then the day after the holidays, and it seems like everything gets real crazy like at the exact same time and then chills out again.
Oh, as much as you can plan, everything's gonna be chaotic. That's part of it. If it wasn't, like, it wouldn't be the same.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. Well, the reason I wanted QC Survivor to join me today, I mean, obviously those of you that are astute to detail, Jericho is not joining us today. And the reason for that is the holidays. He's got family in town. He's doing his due diligence as a family member around the holidays, and he'll be back with us probably next week. But for this week, I got QC Survivor stepping in. And the reason he's stepping in is A, he's an awesome tribesmate. You guys have heard a lot about him and all the great things he does, very knowledgeable. And B, we're talking about caving today. And when I tell you anyone who has questions in our tribe about caving, we head straight to QC Survivor. So you're the man of the hour, bud. I'm going to rely heavily on your knowledge, and I am excited to pick your brain here.
Well, you're gonna make me blush, but I'm gonna do my best.
Well, I mean, okay, first things first. You told me a little bit ago you're caving now while we record, correct?
Yes, yes. Actually, I'm getting ready to do lava cave at the very moment. I've never done it by
Lava
myself,
cave.
like as a whole, so I'd like to just get that out of the way. We don't need the artifact, but we always need practice.
I mean, that's completely fair. Yeah, we do have the caves we have gone into. We've definitely stockpiled a handful of artifacts, which is pretty nice. But you have been pulling out some extremely valuable things out of those drops. Can you sort of just real quick before we dive into everything, tell me about what you got earlier, like yesterday and today?
Well, yesterday and today, I literally just got an hour ago an ascended long neck rifle, max damage, and I got it max damage twice in a row in 2 days on the same node in the same cave. I'm being quite lucky actually. I don't think I'm doing that great. I'm just lucky.
I mean, that's half the battle when it comes to caving. I feel like, we're going to get into the preparation and the research and stuff that you can do. But I feel like at the end of the day, it really comes down to, did the art god smile on you or not?
It's a numbers game. Like if you do 100 cave, you're gonna die 40 times. You're gonna get nothing 20 times, and you might get something awesome the rest of the time. I mean, you never know. You never know what's gonna happen. It's caving. It can be stupidly easy, and then you take it for granted for 1 second, and the ark's gonna come down on you like nothing. It's. I love it. It's awesome. Keeps you on your toes.
Exactly. And it'll get easier, as you progress and as you get these blueprints and get out successfully. You get the better gear, the better items, the better dinos that you'll get throughout the years and weeks and stuff. And it gets easier. But when you first start off, the people that are not experienced in caves, maybe you're a relatively new tribe and like you're not at tech tier yet, you know what I mean? This is the episode for you. We want to dive into the 3-step plan here for how you're going to be successful in caves as often as possible.
Absolutely, absolutely. You need to plan. You can't just swing it.
No, because every time we've tried to wing it, it has ended absolutely horribly for us. Trust me, we've tried a few times and and
Yeah, I think we can hold our ground as a group, and we've encountered some pretty hard obstacles.
We have, and we're definitely going to get into that once we get into like our preparation phase and stuff, because there's a couple of these caves that you can literally go in naked and do it all if you have a decent tame, and then there are other caves that if you forget a singular item, the entire thing's a wash. You need to leave and go like start over pretty much.
Absolutely, as strong as your weakest link, they say. No, your weakest link could be your fortitude that you didn't bring consumable, and your gear is amazing, your tame's amazing, everything's on point, but the cold is killing you, or the heat is killing you, or you didn't bring enough water. Like that, to me, is the weakest link. I think anybody can run caves. It's just you need a little bit of guidance and the right preparation. That's it.
That is exactly it. And that segues perfectly into step one, research. You have to know what you're getting into. If you're like, oh man, I found, a hole in a rock. I'm going to go into it and see what we can find. Maybe we'll get
Yep.
lucky. It's not going to be
Yep.
a fun time for you.
No, no, that's a dead sentence.
Exactly. It's a death sentence. The first question you need to ask yourself is, what artifact are you hunting? What cave have you found? Like, where are you? You know what I mean? That's important.
Yep, absolutely. Where are you in game as well? Like if you start with the hardest cave, there's no way. Like there's a
Yeah,
progress to it. You can't just jump in just like that.
exactly. Yeah, you're going to need to research it, and if people really are that curious about it, I'm sure the two of us could easily make a tier list of, what cave you should go into for what like abilities you have and what tames you have and stuff. And we could dive into that. That could be a whole episode in and of itself. But step 1, what artifact are you hunting? And like QC just said, the next question you need to ask yourself, where in game are you? What biome are you and conditions are you going to be facing? If you're going into a jungle cave, that is not going to be the same preparation, obviously, as going into the snow cave. We learned that the
I
hard way.
agree. I agree.
And then once you get into those biomes, once you figure out what conditions you're facing, what will be attacking you? Because guess what? Arthrolepura are going to ruin your day. You got 2 gas masks, good for you. That's probably not enough. Depending on what tame you're riding in on, you got to know these things and know, what you're getting into. Are there going to be ridiculously strong polar bears? Are there going to be, sketchy sarcos in the water? What is happening?
Yeah, 100%. Like, and also like just the size matter, because some tames can get into caves. Like you gotta have the right tame for the right cave. And like wolves are great, but we found out lately that due to the lack of saddle, like even though their damage is insanely good, like I take that damage any day. They can't withstand high damage because they lack the armor from the saddle. That can't be ignored.
That really can't be ignored, because that's huge. We have found out that is much larger than it used to be in Survival Evolved, and much larger than I ever had considered, because the wolves used to be sweet. I'm not joking, man. We used to have sweet wolves. I was really excited about it, and then we got sweet wolves and consistently got doo-dooed on in the caves. It was not a good time.
Yeah, yeah. Like within minutes into Snow Cave, we lost one. Like it's, yeah, yeah. They're good for lower caves, I guess. If you like wolves, they're like any. I think that a moss shark could run the lower cave if you know what you're doing. But yeah, I don't think wolves are that high in tiers as they used to be. I agree with that.
No. Yeah, we'll do a tier list on that too one day, because actually, we're getting into that later on for like the best tames for different situations and all that. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but going backpedaling a
100%.
little bit, we were talking about what artifacts you were hunting. There are 10 total. Those of you that didn't see our trivia might have missed that one, but Aaron Aztec let us know 3 for the Broodmother, 3 for Megapithecus, and 4 for the Dragon. Now, at first, it sort of sounds willy-nilly because, there's 10 artifacts and you only got to find 3 of them for one specific boss. So if you're only going for certain techgrams and you want to get that boss out of the way, I highly recommend you check out on YouTube. There is a video by ConCon called All Artifact Cave Locations on ASA. That gives you, like, a general roundabout of where you're going to find the caves. Then the next one is the cave locations for Ark Survival Ascended, easiest to hardest. That's by Flingerfu. those videos, the first one's going to show you where the cave is, and the second one is going to tell you that tier list in order already. He's done it for us. So you're going to be able to go in and be like, oh man, I should definitely start off in the jungle caves, and I should not even look at that hard snow cave until, a couple months in, probably.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. You have to do your research, like in everything in life.
And yeah, and I mean, when you're doing your research, you're gonna, the obvious things like the jungle is gonna be a warm area, but it's not gonna be like excruciating hot. The lava cave is gonna be ridiculously hot. Snow cave, ridiculously cold. Like, those ones are pretty straightforward, but there's a couple subtle nuances in there that we'll get into as we go on. I want to say the most nuanced one is probably going to be either the hard snow cave, just because of how actually difficult that is. And then, would you agree that the swamp cave would probably be the next, like, nuanced one that has a lot more specialty information you need to know?
Yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, there's a fatal one that you need to know. If you don't have the gas mag or the scuba gear, you're pretty much done. Like, that's a must know. Otherwise, you're not gonna get through the half of the cave. Like, you're gonna die right away. But yeah, you have to know those. You have to know that, let's say you're gonna do lava cave, you have to know that you're either going to lose your tame, or you need grappling hooks, or you need to be very, 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 very careful. There are some that are like you have to know that Skylord Cave, you can only go on foot. You can, and it's like silly cold. It's yeah, you have to know about it. Like, unless you're like an amazing, amazing, amazing godly player that can just adapt and John Wick any situation.
I mean, even still, in order to do that, you're going to have sweet gear and a crap ton of, like, health brews.
Which you're gonna get from Cave, the sweet gear parts. Yep.
Right,
Circle of
exactly.
life.
And yeah, the circle of life and the circle of death, if you look at it this way. Because, I mean, sure, you get past the biome. Okay, you've accounted for the fact that you should probably bring a consumable. Don't worry, we'll get into that in the preparation phase. You've got all your ducks in a row for where you're going. But then you walk through the door, and the first wave of, like, a horde hits you, and everything goes to crap. It gets confusing, it gets
Yep.
hectic, you get dismounted if there's a Perlovia nearby or something. Like, there's a lot of awful things that can happen very quickly. So,
Just memorizing the path, sorry to cut you off. And as soon as you have a lag spike, you turn around and you're not you don't know where you're at, and then like your whole plan like I've run Skylord Cave about 20 times in the past week, and I still get lost in it just because I get a lag spike and everything looks the same.
it does. It all looks the same. It's, once you get turned around, each of the caverns are, relatively similar, and it's extremely easy to get extremely overwhelmed and, not good for anyone.
Yep. It's easy to have a panic attack in there.
Oh God, yeah, we've each had a couple of those. At least I have. I can tell that.
Oh, I do.
God. So, oh my gosh, speaking of that, I mean, you just reminded me. So I'm gonna go on a tangent real quick. When I went yesterday, I went into one of the ocean caves because we have one ichthyornis, or whatever the little dolphin's called, and ichthyosaurus, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I did all my research. I did all my preparation. I was stacked. I was ready to rock. I was so confident. The last little sentence I said before I went down there is, "Oh yeah, it's totally doable on a speed run as long as you're a skilled pilot." So hopefully I am that. Hey, newsflash, people.
Yeah, I remember that.
I made a mistake. I go down. I knew it. I had the path memorized. I made my way through, rounded about. Like, I was getting all cocky because there were 3 or 4 little pulls of electric eels, and I led them on this huge kiting run, turned around, went back to the drops, looted them all. I had a max damage assault rifle blueprint, and I had another blueprint that was an Ascendant saddle that was pretty solid. I don't remember which one it was, but it was a maybe an Ascendant Thyla, max damage Thyla saddle, I think it was.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think that's what it
I
was.
made it all. Oh, it hurts my soul to say it. I made my way to the artifact. I looked around. The entire artifact chamber was completely empty except for one electric eel. And I said, "Oh man, that bad boy's way at the bottom. $20 says I can jump off, grab the artifact, and then get back on and swim away with no problem. And I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids and your stupid electric eel, because Samuel Eel Jackson comes flying around the corner and surprise, here it is. And it came at me so fast, I forget how quick they are. So I panic and I start smashing the left bumper trying to get the artifact into my inventory, and I'm sitting here like spam switching back and forth everything, and my inventory becomes this hot jumbled mess. I finally snag the artifact. As soon as I pick it up, I turn around to get on my eel, and taser deployed. It was over. Happened so quickly.
Yeah,
I had no chance to react. I pulled out my Ascendant sword. I didn't even get a chance to hack.
I remember you got quiet after that.
Hack
That's
at
true.
the sword, that is. Yeah. It was demoralizing. It was real demoralizing.
Yeah,
it is.
I could never do that. I could never do that. I gotta kill everything. I gotta make sure when I get what I want, there's a free path on the way out.
And there would have been a free path. It would have been fantastic. I just had to, serpentine, baby, zigzag. And it could have been great. I just had to do one pull. All I had to do was do one pull and come back. But unfortunately, I was too impatient.
Yep. But that's okay. Like, dying is part of playing Ark. If you don't want to die, that's not a good game for you, man. That's not a good game for you.
100%.
Especially not caving. If you don't want to die, just craft base, breed dinos, and make a giant gate that nothing can get through, and you'll be fine. But dying's part of it. You gotta accept it.
It is, and this is not Sword Art Online, so nobody needs to stress. You're gonna spawn. I promise. It's gonna be okay. Like Helena said, and like QC reminds me repetitively, we are the ones who try again.
Yeah, I like that sentence. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, we are those who tries
and tries again. Thank you. We're the ones who tries again. And
yeah.
That being said, you're gonna need to be for caving because you're facing up against spiders, and spiders, they shoot their webs. They will pin you down, and you will not run away, which means you need to be back on your mount or you need to be ready to fight.
Yeah, and those fights can be harder than we expect. Like the Arthropleura level 145 is gonna take a while to kill.
Yeah, no, the Arthropleura, they're the centipede-looking ones. They have an acid spit attack. If you're unaware, that acid spit is supposed to miss you if you're on like a Baryonyx or a Megatherium or something tall enough. But if you're not tall enough off the ground, that acid spit will break all of your armor in like one hit.
Did you know, side note on those, I've never played PvP, but I've heard that you can put them on a platform saddle in PvP, put them in turret mode, and apparently they melt through a metal base right away.
That's pretty interesting. I have no PvP experience, so I've never tried that before, but that...
Oh, me neither, but that's what I heard. Like, apparently they're amazing. Like, you could do the same thing with the Arthropleura. Not the Arthro, but the spider one. They shoot their web and they just slow people down. Much easier target when the guy's slowed down by a spider web.
Yeah, that will definitely help in a PvP situation. I could see that being extra terrifying if you're trying to get back to your base and defend something and all of a sudden you're webbed down.
Yeah.
You're gonna see Megalania in there, which, I mean, if you're on a mount, they're not too bad. Meganeura, those dragonflies in the swamp cave, they can very quickly overwhelm you. They're like little piranhas, flying piranhas. Same thing with the Titanomyrma, I think they're pronounced. The ants, they're in the swamp cave really badly as well. You got scorpions and leeches. Those are your standard, torpor-inducing, knock your butt out when they sting you and bite you, so you better be on a mount, or I recommend you bring some stimulants and stuff. Again, we'll get into that in our preparation phase, but right now we're researching. These are the animals we're seeing. Leeches, so bring a torch to burn a leech off. Bring a friend to pull it right off you.
Yep. I think that makes you that you can recover stamina, if I'm not mistaken.
Does it?
The leech has a weird debuff like that.
In my fridge?
The leech has a weird debuff that it makes you can't heal or can't recover stamina or something. It's weird. Yep. But I don't get leeched out often.
No, I don't either, actually. I mean, you try to stay out of the water. Side note, asterisk, don't go in the water in a cave if you can avoid it. Sometimes you have
Yeah,
to, but
these hardcores are gonna dismount you, and they do that roll, and they dismount you, and you never want to dismount in a cave. You never want to dismount in a cave. Like if you have to, go for it, but that's like a last resort thing.
yeah, you're not Steve Irwin, so I don't recommend you try to wrestle a Sarco in the water in a cave.
Like if you're geared up to go on foot, go on foot. That's totally doable, and I fully support that. I love it. But if you're not, like I run it naked on my mount. If you do that, don't get off your mount. Like that's like rule number one. That's a I don't care. Like die with your mount, but don't get off your mount.
Yeah, I have to 100% agree with you. Don't get off your mount if you can avoid it. It's not recommended. Um, let's see. Unless speaking of not getting off your mount, you're gonna have to run into Perlovia depending on which one you're in, because the Perlovia in that hard snow cave, they are voracious in their appetite for ruining your day. I promise.
Yep, they were the biggest challenge we faced, I think.
Yeah, as soon as they dismount you, they stun you. I mean, everything gets real hectic. Nothing makes you panic more than getting dismounted and stunned in the middle of a battle. So that will
Oh,
definitely frazzle even the most hardened survivor.
I agree. I'd rather face a T-Rex than a Microraptor. That's gonna stun me.
100% agree. We talked about dire bears, the polar bears. So, I mean, the white dire bears are the polar bears, and they were monsters in that northern snow cave. They're the hard snow cave. So that sucked. The Yetis are not much more fun if they're in there. I can't remember if they were in there in this one or just the
Yeah,
old
they
one.
were. Yeah, they were.
Thought so.
Well, I think. Well, I mean Yeti or Gigantopithecus, but one of these two. Yeah, I think they were Yetis.
Yeah. Piranhas and anglers in the water, and the last but most certainly not least, the thorn in your side that you will kill the most of in any cave, Onyx, the bats.
Yep. Speaking of, I'm into Dead Island Cave right now, which is filled with Onyx. But go on.
Ugh. Ugh. Have fun with that. A lot of these monsters, you're seeing, high level tames in these caves. You can't tame a lot of them, especially the ones that are over 150. Basically, a good rule of thumb is if you see a monster over level 150, I want to say it's up to 360 unofficial. Nothing will be tameable in that area. It means the cave's too hard, the levels are too high, you're not going to be able to tame anything. But unlike the jungle caves where the max level is 150, you should still be able to tame things in there.
Yeah, that's why we got a dung beetle. There's plenty of stuff to tame.
I tamed a Dilo in there too that one time. Don't know why, but
Yeah, well, you claimed the baby because I knew I was so upset you broke. Well, I mean, not upset, but he dismounted to claim a baby Dilo. Like we would carry that thing out. It's yep.
it was.
Lava cave on top of it. You don't dismount in lava cave.
Yeah, people like me, you got to have a chit chat ahead of time to tell me that I'm not allowed to feel bad for anything and I'm not allowed to try to save anything because chances are I will at some point.
But other than that, we have a lot of fun on those.
Absolutely, lots of fun. The shenanigans are the most fun parts, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, every now and then, like something's funny's gonna happen. I love it.
Oh gosh, yeah, like that one time you straight up called that we needed to start recording, and as soon as you play your camera, Aloe, love him to death. He's one of our tribe mates. He's like, check this out. You can be Spider-Man. Watch this, and he's trying to show me how to conserve one grappling hook. So he makes an extra trip back to conserve one grappling hook. He uses 2 extras to teach me. Swings back over to the artifact and is like, yeah, no problem. Then watch, you just do this, and he swings, and like it's some Mr. Bean movie. He like swings back and then just stops dead in his track and starts lagging back and forth up and down and then is floating over the river of lava, just going up and
he
down,
lost
unable
momentum
to swing,
and was
has no
dead
momentum.
hanging above lava. Oh, that was funny. But yeah,
tried so
if you're
hard.
ready to, like, you gotta go in ready to lose your stuff, and it gets funny.
Absolutely. And fun fact, if you're in a single player server or an unofficial server that you have control over sliders on, you can actually get the cave monster levels up to 672, I think it was. If you change your difficulty offset to 1.0, I think it was.
That'd be crazy.
So That would be crazy. 2 out of 10 would not recommend. Could you imagine a 672 polar bear coming at you, or Perlovia or something?
But I'm assuming you'd have the tame to balance that out. But yeah, I mean,
I would
like you
assume.
can't, you wouldn't be able to miss.
No, unless you're just on psychopath mode and you choose to, leave it on official levels while you have wild dinos out the wazoo. That'd be crazy.
I agree.
We've done all our research. We know what we're getting into. Now it's time to enter stage 2, where you are preparing. At this point, you're getting everything ready, all the items, all the armors, all the weaponry. If you need it today, now is when you get it ready, before it's time to leave, not when you get there and say, oh crap, I gotta go gather this and do this real quick. We gotta do it beforehand. Preparation is key at this point.
Yep.
Hold on one second. I'm sitting here minding my business in the base, and Joe Daddy just came in and hit me with a pike a couple times, so I grabbed my cattle prod and tried to knock him out, but this son of a nutcracker has the fortitude of a small army. Oh, don't you dare pick me up on that. Oh my god, he's trying to pick me up on the yard. I'm shutting the door. Oh no.
Oh, that's why he has that.
Sorry, it's shenanigans.
I was wondering why he has so much, since he's not caving all that much.
Okay, there we go. Now I'm safe. Sorry, he was trying to pick me up and drop me on the Argent, and he kept swooping down over, so I had to lock him out. Alright, yeah, he's got that fortitude, so people like me can't get away with my shenanigans. Now, anyway, like I said, preparation. So, if you're going into... I'm just gonna pick the first condition that pops into my notes here. Cold.
Go for it.
If you're facing cold...
Yes.
Fur, right? I mean, that's your first obvious one. Quality matters. Ascendant is going to be much more efficient than Primitive will, and anything in between will scale as, it falls. But you need fur. You're not going to do well in the cold caves running in with hide. You're not going to do well running in just flak, so gotta have fur, right?
I agree. You gotta have fur, but you also gotta have the consumable that goes with it.
Yes.
I think
Fry
the
a
consumable
curry,
is
free
more
a curry,
important
however
than
you
the
want to
fur.
pronounce it.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, that consumable with good hide armor, the consumable will make you good enough, but highly recommend the fur, especially going into the terrible one, the really, really hard one. Highly recommend fur. But for fry a curry, free a curry, whatever it is, it gives you plus 50 to your hypothermic insulation. So if you're sitting at, like right now, I'm buck naked with my guy, and I've got a cold resistance of 126 with a fortitude of 6. So that's not much, but that soup will give you an extra 50.
Yeah, it's 100%. That's a must. It is. And it gives you the confidence that you don't have to worry about that, because there's going to be a lot of factors once you're going to start fighting and caving. And if you don't have to worry about the cold, then you can focus on that bat, or you can focus on not falling down that murder hole or the lava, or like the less you have to manage, the more in the moment you'll be once you're caving. Because even if you have everything, like it's still caving. You still have to do it.
100%. And if you're worrying about cold is what you're stressing about first, you got those ones, yes. Food seems obvious, but it is very important to bring cooked food. Recommend cooked meat if you eat it, because it gives you, I think it heals plus 8 HP per cooked meat that you eat. So, I mean, that can not only heal you if you've taken a couple hits, but it will also fill up that food that will be draining rapidly if you are cold.
Yeah, absolutely. And not every food's created equally, I think. Like you can have better food. Oh, I almost fell. Yep, there's a. I like jerky when I go cave. Oh, red drop, red drop, red drop. I like jerky when I cave.
Ooh,
Because it's very light. You know it's gonna last forever. Because sometimes I like to go from cave to cave and I don't like to stop home. So yeah, food. You gotta have a lot of it. You never know how much you're gonna use, because you might think you're good with like 5 steak, but if your tame die, 5 tame while 5 food while sprinting might not be enough. You gotta be ready.
exactly. And we're just learning yesterday. Oh gosh, I don't know if they listen or not, but what was the name of it? Was it British Legends? Was the tribe
British
we were talking to
Empire.
yesterday?
British Empire, I think.
British Empire. Yeah, shout out to them if you guys listen. Appreciate the time you spent with us yesterday and all the tips and tricks you gave us. They were teaching us yesterday about custom recipes and how to make them and stuff like that, the custom consumables. That really seems like the way to go if you can perfect your own recipe, you know?
Absolutely. I just started fiddling with it and it's already a game changer. It covers like a lot of basic all in one drink, all in one food supply, and the spoil timer is where it's at. It's like a 2 day timer. Like you can just do them and just do stacks and then just go caving for days and you don't have to worry about it because it's a numbers game. Like you gotta be in it if you want to find what you want.
Exactly. Those numbers make a huge difference. The resistance, the ability to heal, like that can give you the fortitude to take on one or two more monsters, which can sometimes be the difference between making it out and making it like to the next drop. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely.
Fun fact about those custom recipes too, if you feed it to your mounts, a tamed mount can be fed any of those custom recipes and it repairs stamina on them only. So a flying mount, you can choose to never land if you have enough custom recipes in it to just keep feeding it. A water mount, if you're dookie in your swimsuit and you're trying to get away from an electric eel before it gets you, you can boost your stamina again. That's okay. Your ichthy won't die.
That's amazing. That's gotta be something that everybody needs to start using.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think a lot of people know that because I mean, all the years and hundreds of hours I've put into this game, and I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Maybe
That
I'm just
was
silly.
like a surprise to me.
Um, and the last thing for the cold that I want to say, unless I'm missing stuff, is otters. An otter,
Yep.
fun fact of the day, the melee damage scales to the amount of hypothermic, not hyper, or no, it is
Oh
hyper
really?
also, but hypothermic. Yeah, hypothermic is way better. You get between 75 and 82 insulation per 100 damage. So if you can get an otter up to 400 damage, you can multiply that number by 4, and then you're looking at a minimum 300 insulation.
That's awesome, and that's a kid in one shoulder pad.
It's two pieces of ascendant because like the ascendant boots we had were like 150 or something like that.
Yeah, but it's not realistic to talk about ascendant because you have to get started to get the ascendant because ascendant is very rare in
Touche.
world drop, I think, but it's in cave. It's all you find. Like I don't like you might find ascendant slingshot that you don't need, but if you get better at caving and you go into the harder cave, then I always find it's useful stuff now. Like there's no journeyman anymore. Like barely mastercraft, but you have to get started to get the loot, and then it just snowballs. It just snowballs after that. Everything gets easier.
Yeah, it gets real quick. It's awesome. See, up next we got heat. If you're facing heat, opposite of fur would be ghillie.
Yep, 100%. You need that. If you can get it, get. I think
Oh,
cloud is the next best thing.
yeah, but I mean that's not gonna do it in some of these, like the lava cave cloth. I wouldn't recommend. Ghillie's where you really
Well,
gotta get it.
actually,
Quality
lava
matters
cave.
again.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. 100%.
It will if you have good cloth armor. You can get away with it. You know what I mean? With the consumable, especially, which is Kalian soup. Kalian. I don't know how to pronounce these things.
I agree. It's very
So,
hard to pronounce, but I
ghillie.
think that's the right one.
Yeah, ghillie. Need quality. Kalian soup. That's your consumable. It's going to do the same thing as the Freya curry, but backwards. So you're getting 50 hyperthermic. Hyperthermia is overheating. Hypothermia is freezing to death. So you're getting 50 hyperthermic insulation from the Kalian soup. Um, a lot of these places, I think the lava cave, if I remember correctly, has puddles everywhere. I think Aloe told me he found a couple puddles that you could like replenish your water from. Am I remembering that correctly, or am I making that up?
I've never seen them. Maybe, but
Okay,
I've
I might
memorized
be
the
thinking of it
path, so I
differently.
don't linger anymore. Like I just go in and out real quick. So I'm not that into like
That's fair.
my water anymore because I can usually do lava cave within like 10 minutes. But yeah, you need to be
All right.
prepared. But lava cave, I'd say bring a couple canteen. You should be fine. Like 2 canteens gonna refill you 8 times.
Yeah,
That should be fine.
absolutely. Yeah, you'd be perfect with 2 canteens. I never bring any more than that. Um,
Yeah.
let's see. You're gonna probably want to be mounted. Again, you want to get in and out of these hot caves as quickly as you can, so being mounted will help with that speed, but I don't recommend sprinting through the caves. When you sprint, it definitely drops your FPS and it raises your lag. And we have sprinted and jumped into the lava at least 4 or 5 times between Aloe and myself.
Yeah, you'll jump, you'll fall in lava, you'll fall in water and get dismounted by circles, you'll fall down a cliff, get aggroed like half a room, or you'll just plain glitch into the cave wall and then get swarmed and won't be able to attack because you glitch into the wall and you'll die that way. Like there's a lot of ways to die in caves.
There's like 4 ways to survive and a lot of ways to die in a cave.
Yep. Yep.
The next thing we have after heat, you're looking at oxygen is the next stat that I'm stressing about sometimes. That's really only a problem in the swamp cave where you're going to need a way to not die from the poison gas. And then the 2 underwater caves in which you are, stressing to breathe since it's underwater, obviously. And that is a pretty simple and straightforward answer.
I'm gonna challenge you
tanks.
on that and
Gas mask.
add the cave of the artifact of the pack, which you have to swim under water from holes to hole. And I think it was Aloe that because he took the wolf and his wolf can swim. Like in that cave, you might want to bring that chowder too. So I would add that 4th cave to prepare for oxygen because I'm not going back without chowder. Although now we know the shortcut, but if you don't know the shortcut and you're just exploring, you're gonna need Lazarus chowder in the, I think it's lower upper south or something like this, upper south cave. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And I completely agree. I put 50 points into my oxygen because, water spooky. But those of you that have 100 oxygen, you guys were not having a good time. I was quite content. You guys were not. But just as I hit the end of that, because we had gotten turned around a little bit, but not enough that I would consider it like a wrong turn. So in a standard push through to the end, I spent about 150 oxygen getting from end to end. So if your oxygen is lower than that, you're going to be taking damage and you're going to need to be able to offset that. So mentally prepare that 50 oxygen worth of suffocation damage, which is, I don't know how many ticks that is, but 50% of your oxygen, you will be taking suffocation damage, and that goes very, very quickly. So I would recommend that you are able to offset that in the 4th cave as well. It's a good point.
Yep, but caving is like a chess match. There's always a way to offset that. You can either get the chowder, get what's the name? I'm blanking right now. Anyway, the baryonyx is what I meant to say. Baryonyx are gonna swim through that in no time. Like every cave has its pros and cons and its counters.
Exactly. And I actually have a couple scenarios where I want to sort of pick your brain and play tit for tat on which one you think fits better for what situation. We'll get to that here in just a minute.
Oh god. Okay.
The last stat we're stressing about when we're caving is your health. I don't think there's any other stat looking at my hotbar here that's going to pose too much of a threat to you. Your health it seems obvious when you're looking right off the bat. You know what I mean? It's nothing crazy that you're sitting here like, oh, geez, I got to stress about this and that and this and that. But it definitely adds up on stress. So the first thing, if you are going into the swamp cave, you don't really need it in any other one, but bug repellent is very important for the swamp cave.
Yep, I agree. Bug repellent is a very useful tool.
What is?
Bug repellent is a very useful tool. Like I like to run cave. Like the jungle cave can easily be ran with bug repellent and just avoiding the titanoboa and just making your way, like you could get there without tame and just make your way just fine. That's how I was caving at first. That's how I got started.
Ooh, there we go. So that's a good little way. Bring some extra bug repellents and it'll definitely take a lot of the stress off of you. So hopefully that makes your exploration in the beginning a little bit easier and less sketchy.
Yep. Well, it makes you harder to target, so harder to see.
Very true. Aside from bug repellent, you're gonna want, as long as you're offsetting, if you're lucky enough, as you get going, you'll get ascendant gear and silly things like that. And as you do, you'll be able to offset a little bit more damage while still having like good cold and heat coverage. If I get an Ascendant boots and an Ascendant hat, the rest of my gear can be Flak or Riot, which will help you, take more damage before you die, which will then help you stay alive longer. And it's got this vicious cycle here.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Stimulants. You're going to want, we talked about them a little bit, but torpor is your enemy. If you decide that you are going to take a nap, you're going to take a nap right here, right now, you're quite probably going to die shortly after, because once you go down, you are going to get swarmed. And in a cave, I can promise you, if you're passing out, you are not going to be left alone.
100%. Everything comes at you in a cave. Like we've seen dung beetles swarm us. So, like if you're down, like
Dude, dung beetles are
I
aggressive.
would, yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't want to mess with dung beetles. That's weird, but
it's a fun little like awkward play too. You gotta. So we're talking about how you don't want to go down, stay close to your tame, don't get off your tame. You should probably keep your tame on passive before you go in, depending on which cave you're in. If there's lava, put it on passive. That's my recommendation.
yeah, I've lost my best saber-tooth that way. With an Ascended saddle, I was quite upset. I don't usually get upset, but I got a little bit upset.
It's tough not to with an Ascendant saddle. I mean, especially if you're not really able to replace it as easily as you would like to. If you don't have the blueprint, it is hard.
Yeah,
to
I
lose
didn't
stuff
have
like
the
that.
blueprint, so it was a one of.
Yeah, that is definitely a wallop. Let's see what's next here. Let's see. I've got cooked meat. We talked about it earlier. Adds 8 HP. So, I mean, I feel like most people are already aware of this, but just in case you're not, I just want people to know, adding levels does not increase the health you have. It increases your maximum health pool. So if I have 100 HP and I get hit 3 times and I'm down to 30 HP, but don't worry, I saved 32 levels and I'm going to put them all into my HP. My maximum health will now be filled, but my current HP will not rise at all. So if you are not aware of that, don't bank on that being a solution. You know what I mean? Just in case anyone didn't know.
Yeah, I agree. Because sometimes in cave you can just look down and have a lot of levels on your tame, let's say. And if you think that's gonna save it, it's not. It's not gonna save it. Might as well put it in melee damage and just try to just attack your way through.
Yeah, unless you've got, 5,000 stacked, like 5,000 raw meat on your tame that you want to sit there and force feed it, then sure, pump some levels, force feed it back up to health, but you better be prepared to force feed it because you're not going to just gain the health automatically, is really my moral of the story.
Yep.
In fun fact, if you are someone like me who gets in the zone and forgets that you have a handy dandy little heads up display in the bottom right corner, you can pay attention to the outline of your screen, the sounds you hear. You're going to get that little red fainty you have a boo-boo screen. And you start to hear your heartbeat at 50%. So fun fact, if you are hearing your heartbeat, you are at 50% or lower health. The harder and faster it is beating. Yeah, the harder and the faster it's beating is the lower your health.
Really? Well, I mean, I knew that it started beating at some point, but I didn't know it was 50. No, I'll be on the lookout for it.
Yep, 50%. So 50% is just your bump, 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 bump. But then when you hit 10, 15, 20%, that's when you hit the.
Yeah, then usually if you're in a cave, because the screen gets darker, the cave's already dark, everything gets red, you start panicking, you're usually dead by that point. Dead man walking.
You're about to see the light, and you should not go towards it unless it's an artifact.
But it's okay, we are those who tries again.
Exactly, you're going to fail, and it took me 5 or 6 utter failures in the caves to be able to have this outlook on it, but this is indeed how you practice. And I mean, I can promise you every mistake that I have made in these caves, I haven't made again. These are one-time mistakes that you're like, crap, I can't believe I just did this. And guess what? You won't do it again if it bothered you that bad.
Absolutely. Mistakes are allowed. Repeating mistakes are another story. But mistakes are allowed. Like, but you gotta learn. Like, yeah, otherwise it's just dumb.
Yep, and you're going to make the mistakes. We keep saying it. We're the ones who try again, and you're going to need to learn that. Embrace it. Watch Netty the Noodles lore video on YouTube if you have not gotten that reference yet, because it is a very, very powerful, mantra to life, not just an Ark thing.
I agree. 100%.
So, damage to your tame, we talked about that a little bit with the wolves. Your armor, the higher it is, it gives you more effective HP. So, when we say effective HP, a good saddle is not going to raise your dire wolf's HP from 2000. It's not going to go any higher than that. If you had, saddle, okay, you can't put a saddle on a wolf. That was a terrible example. Your saber has 2000 HP and you add a saddle to it, it's still going to have 2000 HP. But if that saddle has 110 resistance on it, that's 110 damage that you are mitigating each time. So it will allow your health to effectively be 110 higher for each time you're being whopped, which will then, add that long-term effective HP to you. So it does make a big difference if you're taking stacks of 250. 110 being reduced, is huge. So a good saddle is going to make a huge difference. But if you're going into a cave, for your caving dinos, you're not going to be sprinting too much. You're not going to be in extremely elongated battles or anything. So your stamina is not something I'm going to panic about. But I highly recommend you have solid HP and very, very high melee. That's the two things that I recommend you level. Do you disagree?
I agree. I would say if you don't have a good saddle, HP is the priority because it's all fun if you have high melee damage, but if you're dead, you're not doing anything. But if you can get your hands on a good saddle, HP is not that important because everything dies pretty quickly, except maybe Snow Cave. I would have a different strategy for Snow Cave, and I would have a specific tame for Snow Cave loaded on health with a good saddle, just to tank them, literally.
100%. Very, very much so agree with that. That snow cave is just a whole new monster. That's apples and oranges compared to the other caves. That was wild.
Yeah, 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 yep, yep, yep. Going back, going back soon.
So looking at your best tames for different situations. So, excuse me. Not every tame is created equal when it comes to taving. You had made a comment that you could take. What did you say? A Phiomia? Was that what you said?
I'd love to take. I think I could take a moss chop and do the jungle cave.
Moss chops. I challenge you to try that.
I'm gonna try it and record it, and we'll see what happens. But I'm 100% sure, because it's basically mechanics. I think if you know the right mechanics, you know where to go, you know how to get the artifacts, you know where the drops are, that's gonna trump having a better stats. In my opinion, I'm not saying I'm gonna
for sure
challenge the brood mother with a moss chop, but I think I can do the central cave and lower south cave and upper south cave with a moss chop. That's totally doable. 100%.
It would be tough depending on what waves you get, but I think if you had a mated pair, it would be easy peasy. But there are, optimal tames for all these different
100%.
situations.
100%.
So if you're ocean caves, let's start there. Non-combat, you just want to get in and out, speed run. I tried to do it on an ichthyosaurus. I can't remember, it's ticking me off. Whatever the dolphin is. I tried to do it.
Yeah.
Itchy. Whatever. We'll just call it the itchy. I tried to do it on the itchy, and I would have. I did it, but I got cocky, I got arrogant, and I got sloppy, and that cost me and the itchy its life. So I think an itchy could be great, but it's probably not the optimal. I have one other creature in my mind for an optimal in and out non-combat. What would you pick in your opinion?
I've never ran the ocean cave, but from an outsider point of view, I might go with a stupid high HP baryonyx and hope to God that the stunned attack works very well.
What are you going to do for jellyfish and eels? Because when they come at you in droves, I think the
I
baryonyx
will
still get stunned and
freak
dismounted.
out because I did not prepare for ocean cave. Preparation is key,
Well,
and with you throwing that question at me, I am not prepared, so I would probably try again.
yeah, I mean that's totally fair because you are not being given these. He did not get these questions ahead of time, so these are all blind fire questions. And with you not doing that cave, it's probably tough to answer.
But
But
I know that the basilic is the basilic. I not the basilic, the snake, but the how is it called? Like you know better
the
than me.
Basilosaurus,
Yeah, I know that this one is the one that people use when they want to fight their way through it. But like making a speed run to it, I don't know about it. I don't know about that.
I am going to default and say the best tame for the ocean caves and probably a swamp cave too in and out is going to be a frog in my opinion. They
Let's try
are
it.
very, very quick in the water, and not only are they quick, but they're pretty agile. You can turn on a dime with them. When Same with the itchy, you can turn on a dime with them. It's super convenient. And when you are going up to, there's one drop in one of the ocean caves. There's probably one in the other ocean cave too, but I haven't explored that one yet in Survival Ascended. Uh, that is out in dry land. So you had to find a little spot to park your tame that was like close enough up to the wall that it didn't trigger any of the eels to come in and attack it. So it was like a really awkward little like wedge up in the corner type of situation. And a frog would be perfect for that because you can just roll up like you own the place and hop out of the water and go about your business, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's funny you're saying that because right now we're raising two frogs max level. So well, not max level, but like level 210. So we might have to try that this week. I'm looking forward to it.
And I'm looking forward to that as well. I think that with an extra person, it would have been smooth sailing. And now that I got humbled very quickly by the ARK simulation, I feel like I'll be doing just fine going back in. So I'm excited for us to get a pair of frogs bred out so that we can actually take them in there, try again.
I'll be
Um,
happy to do that as long as I don't have to dismount. You'll be
yes.
the one grabbing the artifact, man. That's on you.
Yeah. I'll take one out and drop it for you so that way you can add it to your collection too.
We'll bring an otter. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, we'll have otters by then. Um, we'll have more otters. God, Cal tamed me an otter since the last time we talked. I sent everyone on a mission. I was like, raid an otter right now. And Cal tamed me one. I promptly got on. I named it. I leveled it. I made it all cute. Put a little hat on it. And then about 7 minutes into me being on the server, took it into the Skylord cave. And fun fact, this guy didn't know how to use a grappling hook. And I shot up onto the ceiling and I'm like, oh, cool, let's just do this. And, I learned really quickly that you probably shouldn't push left trigger when you are on a grappling hook because I just decided to drop my self at Mach speed into the insta-kill ravine and lost the otter and everything that I had on me. So, lessons learned. Won't do that again.
Absolutely.
Learned how to use a grappling hook very quickly.
That's where the practice comes in. Practice, practice, practice.
Yeah, and I mean, again, mistakes you won't make again. I goofed up on the buttons to push on a grappling hook. Very silly mistake. It was a humbling experience to remind myself that I don't remember everything all the time. And here we are doing grappling hooks just fine like Spider-Man now.
Yeah. Although I've now memorized the path to do Skylord without using grappling hooks, and it's quite easy. So you can just go in naked, in and out within 1 minute, and you have the artifact, and most likely a good drop.
Hey,
I'm
hey.
going on Skylord right now, in Skylord.
Perfect. I'm probably going to head to one of the jungle caves here to go tame us some more dung beetles since our dung beetle got a mysterious illness.
That's awesome. Always good things in cave.
Always. Let's see. Getting back to caves. So we talked about Perlovia in that hard snow cave. There is a fun little dinosaur that can sniff those bad boys out, and that would be the wolf. A wolf is capable of smelling out Perlovia that are hidden underground and then you can, send your more formidable tames, or you can figure out a way to kite them out, shoot them off before they can come to you. Like, there
Well,
are
at least they're not
options,
gonna
but
surprise you.
yeah,
At least
exactly. They're
you
not
get
going to
the element
surprise
of
you.
surprise out of the way. Like that's already a win.
Yeah, that is half the battle. The Perlovia are masters of hiding, so a wolf being able to pull it aside and, save the day is something that's going to be extremely beneficial for, we forgot to do that because we went into that cave and we had wolves with us, but we didn't sniff any of them out. We still got surprised, so shame on us.
Well, yeah, we had a rough start into the cave. Like I think the first tame, not the first tame, but the first dino, the first bear or something, we already lost a wolf. So it was a rough start. Like I think we did. It's like Mike Tyson says, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face, and I think we got punched in the face on that day.
Yeah, we definitely did. It was not pretty for anyone.
But it
Um,
was funny, it
but I
was
mean,
good, and it was a humbling experience.
absolutely. And I think that's what I'm going to take from it, is that it was a very humbling experience, because after we've played this game for as many hours as we both have, you don't get humbled too often, but when you do, boy howdy does it make you feel like you just got the game.
Yep, yep. This is a new game. Have fun. You want to see
Yeah,
the
yeah.
tutorial?
That they should add that. They should add a little feature where if you've died X amount of times within X amount of minutes, it offers to show you
Oh,
the tutorial again. I would be so
that'd be
demoralized.
awesome. That'd be awesome. That'd be such a nice, like, little wink.
Overall, land tame. If you are just going into a cave, but you need a tame, you're not going on foot, you're not facing any waters, you're not facing any major grappling concerns. What are you taking, QC?
Well, the first common one is gonna be the raptor, because you're most likely gonna spawn in the south. You're most likely gonna encounter a raptor before you see a saber tooth or a wolf. So you're most likely gonna bring a raptor in it first time, which is perfect. Like I mean, it's a great. The damage not that high, but they can take a little punch, and they're quick and they're very maneuverable. It's most likely gonna be a raptor.
And I wasn't the biggest fan of raptors going into the caves, but that's just because I was living off of the mentality of like, oh, the wolves used to be this and used to be that. So I was like, holding off for the wolves to be done and going into the caves with them. And in the grand scheme of things, the raptor did significantly better than the wolves did, just because of the saddles. A good saddle made all the difference in the world.
Yep, absolutely. As soon as you get like a journeyman or mastercraft, like you don't even need to get ascended. Don't get that into your head. Like a mastercraft is gonna get you to any of those cave without losing a drop of health. Like a good saddle is everything.
Absolutely. Um, and if you don't want to use raptors, or if they're just not your shtick, you prefer something a little hairier, then the sabers, absolute monsters, and they're not hard to tame. They're pretty easy to tame, pretty easy to find. You can set up a little ramp trap and get one easy peasy. And the Thylas are a little tougher, but if you have somebody on your server that can trade with you, or if you are, able to tame one yourself, then they're pretty solid. Both of the big cats, very solid.
Yeah, but with the uncertainty we're facing with cryopods and cryofridge and the proximity and all that stuff, and as of now, I don't think Tyler's fit into any of the caves. So, like, I know that this week we've got amazing Tylers. We started crossbreeding with British Empire that you mentioned earlier, and we got some perfect ascended saddle blueprints. But as of now, we're working on them, but we can't use them for boss and we can't use them for caves. We'll see what happens with the
That's true.
cryopods. Most likely this week. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's a big news thing. That, see, I gotta have Jericho here to keep me on point. That's why you get paid the big bucks, QC. The cryopods are supposedly coming today. We are recording on the 17th of December, and we had heard the 20th was going to be when we get cryopods. Whether or not that's going to, still be the actuality that we're facing, we're not sure. but that's what we're expecting. So either way, in the next week or so, we should have cryopods. Um, our tribe mate Aloe has figured out, I think he said 15 foundations he figured out.
Yeah, I think it's 12 or 15, but it's something in that range. It's like a very small range.
Yeah, 12 or 15. And that's tight. That's hard. So you're going to have to figure out a way that you're going to get your sleeping bags as close as physically possible to that cave entrance, or not your sleeping bags, a foundation as close as possible to that entrance, so that way you can get a cryo fridge there and, do it outside. But it's not going to be like it was in the old Ark, where you could just cryopod up inside of the cave and whip out a Rex and a Giga and manhandle everything that gets in your way. It's not going to be like that anymore.
Well, I don't want to go on a tangent on that, but our friends from British Empire were saying yesterday that if you read carefully, we're saying that the cryo fridge needed to be active and not powered. So they were saying that you didn't need to put it on a foundation. So technically, you could put it next to the cave, and it would take 5 minutes to activate. And then you could do your cryopod and just pick it up again, since you can just pick structure as you go. So we'll see what
Yeah, but
happens. It's a lot of uncertainty.
I am concerned that people will not be that polite, and we're going to see issues where, how like when you're looking for the entrance to a cave, it's tough to find if you don't have the coordinates, but all you have to do is look for the pile of sleeping bags and the mountain
Yeah,
of
that's it.
leather laying there. I'm afraid we're going to see mountains of cryo fridges, because I don't know if the cryo fridge is going to have like the proximity on it where you can't put it down near other people's. I don't know if that's going to operate now like a standing torch where you can just drop it anywhere if it's not close to someone's foundation. Like, I don't know
Yep.
how that's going to work.
Yep. But by now, you know my opinion on cryopod. So we'll see what happens. I'll be fine either way. Like I'll be like sabers
Yeah.
can get through anything, and in my opinion, they're powerful enough to get through anything. So
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I think we'll figure it out. I'm curious to see what it's going to be, and I think that we're unfortunately going to see a doo-doo fest at first, just because of people taking advantage of having them now, because everyone has been so darn excited for them that people, I think, are just going to go nuts. I'm curious to see how it's going to affect the server lag. I'm curious to see how it's going to affect base lag. I'm curious to see how it affects cave entrances, and periodically throughout the
well,
map, I'm afraid people are going to stick them on spawns and ruin things.
it would have solved our issue having cryopods of getting our tame stuck behind somebody just leaving their saber tooth into the choke point, so that nobody
Yeah,
could get through.
I don't want to, you know, out our server number or anything, because, it's already overpopulated to begin with. But the people in our server, and if you're from our server and you've seen our billboards and you're listening, you know who we're talking about. I think their tribe name is like, it's the bracket symbol, but it makes like a rectangle, and it's just like rectangle, 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 rectangle. We're trying to
Oh,
figure out
that's what
if
it was. Yeah, okay.
it's that, or if it said like blood or something like that, or if it was symbols from a different language that the English version of Ark isn't picking up. We weren't sure exactly how it worked out, but it looks like a bunch of rectangle brackets. And if you're listening and you're in that tribe, you suck, and forget you. And I hope you step on a bunch of Legos and four-sided dice from Dungeons and Dragons, because you suck. They literally parked their
99% of the server is amazing, amazing. But
absolutely.
like in everything, you just get that 1% of people that are just in there to annoy people.
Yeah, I don't quite understand what their mindset was when they did that, but they parked their tame right on that choke point, so it is not physically possible for you to get your tame out of the cave. So we had to like go around it. We had to do this like awkward little scuttle to get past it in the first place, and once we did, there was no coming back. So really
Yeah, three
sucks
of us
that
tried
they
for
had
a
to be
good
like
10
that.
minutes and there was no way out. There was no way out. We usually find a way out after a while, but there was no way out on that one. They're still alive and well,
No.
by the way. We left them in there. They're still good. I checked on them earlier.
Hey. It makes me happy that they're still kicking, because they got put in a real crappy situation. They're put off in a safe spot, so they should be okay. In theory, we'll just have to keep checking on them until Hopefully, I think I saw somebody on the server put in something with wild cards, so hopefully they, kill off that dino soon.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. We'll send them greeting cards. Maybe they'll do it.
Yeah. All right, refocus here. Sorry, I just went off on a huge tangent. So coming back at it, we talked about how to mitigate damage to your tame. Now we're talking just preparation, your standard, your weapons, your ammo, your miscellaneous gear. What is your loadout, QC? You're going into a cave. It's a doozy. You're gearing up for a standard fight. Ignore, don't get into specifics for fur and ghillie and stuff because we don't know if we're going into hot or cold in this hypothetical situation. We're assuming that you're taking the proper armor, but what is your standard quote unquote
Lesser
loadout?
antidote, lesser antidote, lesser antidote, lesser antidote again. You need like 3 or 4 of them. You can't get around them. That's number one.
Absolutely.
That's gotta be number one, and it's not even you. Like if you get it and you don't kill yourself because you don't care about dying, you're gonna give it to your tribes member. If you go with people, so it's to me it's priority number one. Lesser antidote, and it's very cheap to do. You just gotta do it.
Clarification purposes, lesser antidote is to cure mega rabies, which you get from being bit by bats.
Yeah, and it spreads to other tribesmate around. So you're gonna notice it because you're gonna get a little debuff icon, and your character is gonna start coughing. And you probably won't hear it during a fight, but between fights, like if you're not sprinting, you're definitely gonna hear it. Like it's 100%.
Yes.
You can't miss it.
And if your tribe mate has it, you'll see a little cloud circling their head. So it looks like they have like a little yellowish cloud, greenish cloud. I don't know, colors are hard, but you can see that around their head and hear them coughing. So I recommend you stay, I think it was 10 foundations away. 6 maybe.
Yeah, just kick them. Just push them. I don't know.
Kick them from the tribe so that way they're not contagious anymore.
Yeah, that's it. Just
what?
Like you'll be back when you're clean. That's distanciation. We were taught that. Yeah.
What else do you have in your loadout?
We also have water, food, lesser antidote. Water, food, lesser antidote. I usually have a consumable that goes with it, and grappling hooks. Grappling hooks are not always needed, but it's always good to have them. You never know what's gonna happen. You might lose your tame, and you might need them to do a jump that's easily doable with your tame, and you never think you're gonna lose your tame, but every now and then you do. That's part of the game. So grappling hooks, lesser antidote, food, water. I would probably not bring anything that I'm worried about losing. It's more of what I don't bring. I'm gonna bring the strict minimum, and that's it. Like you don't want to bring your brand new Ascended Beast because you're running Skylord and you're just gonna fall into a murder hole, and you're just gonna instant death. Like you don't want to grapple over, well, yeah, you know what I mean. It's what
Yes,
more what I don't bring. Like I don't bring Ascended Saddle anymore. Like it's not that important. Part of the preparation, I would memorize the cave. Like a lot of them are very easy to memorize. I would gear. What else? That's it, man. What else do you need? Oh, armor. If you need armor, breed hide armor so you can repair as you go, because Archer Puller are gonna kill it. And as soon as the fight is done, just repair it because you can gather hide as you go in the cave. And if you need fiber, like you might dismount from your mount. Like I don't recommend it, but it's doable. And you can get a fiber right there, so you could fix your armor on the go. That's a good one. I mean, yeah.
That is really good. That's a really good suggestion.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know.
Let's see. From what I was reading on the wiki, just like different recommendations for different caves and different purposes. This does not go for every cave. This is just general things to consider. Pick and choose which one of these that I'm about to rapid fire are appropriate for the cave you're going into. You're looking at either a pike or a sword for melee range if you're going to get within melee range. It's not always necessary, but I like to have something. A shield to go with a sword if you're going to have it. A crossbow. You're going to want stone arrows or better. I wouldn't recommend trank arrows because they're not going to get the job done right now. Like QC said, grappling hooks. Gotta have grappling hooks. If for nothing else, just to grapple up onto a ledge. If you see 12 snakes and scorpions boogieing at you and you decided to go in on foot, highly recommend you zip line up on, not zip line, but grapple up onto a little ledge to the point where you're not going to be hit and you can just take everything out with your crossbow or shotgun, assault rifle, whatever weapon you bring. That's another one.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Weapon is very important because sometimes, especially if you have a raptor, because raptor don't have that much of a high melee damage, so dealing with a nonic might not be dangerous, but it might take forever. Because every time he fly by, you only have one chance to bite him, and it takes forever for him to come back. So, having a crossbow, you don't have to dismount, and you can just shoot the onyx, and usually you can take him down much faster that way. So either a
Very, very,
crossbow,
very
if you
true.
can get, if you have a decent tribe, I know we can afford to get shotgun shell quite at a decent pace, so that's much better. But any range weapon is great because you on a saber tooth especially, you don't get the head of the raptor that's blocking your view. So that's one of the reasons I like the saber tooth better, is because you can shoot with a clear view once you're on top of it.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't think about the head of the raptor. They do have that longer neck, and the fact that they are bipedal, standing on 2 feet, that does make it hard to
Yeah,
shoot around them.
every time you need to shoot with a raptor, what I do is I usually angled up about 45-degree either to the right or to the left, and that allows you to have a clear shot but still be able to turn around and attack quickly, because it doesn't matter if you get a shot if it takes you like 3 seconds to stow your weapon and you get hit and hit and hit and your raptor's there doing nothing.
Gosh, that's true. That's very true.
Which all of that can be ignored by just having a saber tooth with no head poking out, and you can just shoot as you want.
Boom, Saber's way to go, in my opinion, so far.
Yep. Yep.
Um, let's see here. Uh, what else did I have? Oh, RPGs. Worst case scenario, RPGs and grenades. Great for
Yep.
piranha and bat swarms.
Yep.
So,
I have an idea to do the Devourer cave, the one on Dead Island, and just like get a parachute and jump down and just like chuck grenade and throw RPGs down the hole and just try to blow everything before I land. Like it's
fire
probably
in
a
the
death
hole.
sentence, but we can probably we can afford to do that. It's just like a couple metal run, a couple charcoal, and that's it with them.
Yeah, for science, I am here for it.
That'd be amazing.
Metal spikes? Can you put metal spikes down inside the caves, or do those count as like structures that you can't
I've
place in there?
seen that. I've seen that tip on the wiki, and I had that same thought, but I never tried. You know what? I'm gonna look if I have what it takes right now in my RG to craft some, and I'll go test it. But I've seen that too, but I've never tried it. I've never tried
That's
it, so I
something.
wouldn't want to.
Something we'll have to try.
But yeah,
Well, I guess we'll try it, and then if somebody has tried it, please
yeah.
sound off in our Discord to let us know. Um, Gosh, we got to some of the best tames for different situations. The ones that we skipped over. If you're going in the deep sea and you want to do brute force, which is not a speed run, you're going in and like QC said, you want to kill everything to make sure you have a clear escape. A Mosa or a Tuso, the squid. Those are the only two that I would recommend doing a brute run with. Maybe a Basil if you are a Basilosaurus if you got a good level one, so that way you can do like the stun avoiding. But a high level Tuso is like a wet Giga.
Oh really? I've never played with those. I mean, I'm aware of them. I've been killed by them a few times, but I've never tamed one or used one. So it's something to
Yeah,
look forward to.
they are fast and they are just big wet Gigas. They're very nice.
That's awesome.
Um, a Baryonyx, you had mentioned the Baryonyx is great for like some water areas, and it also has a stun attack. That stun attack, it is great for piranhas and things like that, but unfortunately for some of the caves, the Baryonyx just doesn't quite have enough room to fit. So you're gonna have to do your research to figure out if a Baryonyx can fit before you dive into that.
And
But
I don't think it has that great of a jump ability, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. It does not.
And if you play right, you don't need to go into water all that much. The worst one was the artifact of the pack, but for anyone listening, we figured out that once you go to the lake at the bottom, there's a shortcut you can use with a grappling hooks, and it takes 10 seconds. You don't even have to get wet. So baryonyx are not in play in my head anymore. They're just like a larger raptor.
That's totally fair. So again, good for if you haven't gotten a saber yet, good for if you don't have the ability to get anything else down there, but because of their lack of jumping, like they can jump, but they don't got the knees for it. So I don't recommend it.
And what else do we
Um
have? What else?
that's it for my recommended tames. I mean, the rest of it is like you can raise megatheriums or rexes inside of some of the caves, but it just doesn't seem to be the play. It's not worth your effort in my opinion.
Well, I'm thinking of raising a UT into Snow Cave just to deal
That
with the
might be worth it.
Perlovia because you can fear them. So that might be just raise one and have like a pack of saber or something. I don't know, but I'm waiting to see what's gonna happen with the cryopods and then I'll make a decision. But yeah, with all the choke points, it makes it much harder, and in my book, that makes it better. I like it much better. We gotta talk about the swamp cave with Belzebufo.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you want to say about that? Good idea.
Well, that's the best time to do it, right? Like, isn't there like small tunnels and like the dragonfly, and it has that bonus damage on them, and like that's pretty much the only time to do it with.
Yes, not only does it have the bonus damage on them and it's got the like ability to make very quick work of those bugs, but if you eat a bug with that frog, it converts it into cementing paste for you. So if you can get a good frog in that cave, you can go on some disgusting offensive cementing paste runs and come out, set for the next month.
Yeah, frog is a good investment because cementing paste is usually a good trade value for official servers. And funny thing, I got two frogs for the 600 cementing paste, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna get into that money in no time.
Boom. And like you said, cementing paste, it's one of the like 3 or 4 core resources that are always used as currency for official servers. So cementing paste, polymer, metal, anything that aids in gathering those resources gonna benefit you. You'd be amazed at what you
Oh,
can get done for 5k of any of those resources.
I was thinking you were gonna mention polymer, cementing paste, giga egg, and carca egg. I feel like that's the only thing people want these days.
Yeah, it used to be metal ingots, but people seem to have gotten a little bit away from ingots because nobody seems to be requesting that. There's just ease of access, I guess. Nobody needs ingots on this map. The other maps where it's not quite as easy to harvest metal, like the center, kind of annoying to harvest metal. So when that comes out, I feel like the people that are well off on metal will be great for using that as a trade resource.
Probably.
Um, so now we're hitting into stage 3. So this is a longer episode. Thank you if you've stuck around this long, but it's all important stuff. So I mean, if we're gonna get you ready for caves, I feel like we got to cover it all.
Can I just mention one thing that we've been skipping on preparation? And I know I'm a stickler for detail, but some of the caves, the snow caves, the water, it damage you. So like if you think, and I just want to take us as an example, and we went piranha hunting into the water for food into the snow cave, but the water hurts you because it's that cold. So I just wanted to mention that because I've been trying to find a way to put it in, and we're moving away from preparation. So here we go.
Absolutely appreciate the heck out of that addition. This is the section where I think we're about to jump into all those things. And then at the end here, I've got the bonus tips and tricks for anything that we missed. So this is going to be the time now that we're attacking any of that information that you want to share. Please feel free, don't
All
hold
right.
back. So, like QC said, the freezing water, I'm going to get my pen here because I have. All right, I'm just going to have to remember I don't have a pen. So I've got a whole bunch of stuff here, but the freezing water does about 6 damage per second in that cave when you're sitting in it, both to you and your tame. So be wary. The
That's a lot.
lava, Yeah, the lava does between 72 and 200 per second, depending on where you are in which cave. So, I mean, that's a lot too, but it's, it's freaking lava. So,
Yeah, if you're in lava, there's no good way to say it, but that's not a good
the,
scenario.
no,
Yep.
even if it's just 1 foot in your lava, you're gonna have a bad day, okay? There's shock and infection. It's gonna be bad. Um, So bring extras of anything that can break, because Arthur Laplura is gonna break your armor. A lot of fighting. I've had a couple times where I ran out of shotgun ammo, or my shotgun broke in the middle of the cave. Your grappling hook is no longer usable because your crossbow is now broken. Like, these are things you got to prepare for. Bring extras.
Yes, and remember, two is one and one is none. Like you can't have that many. Like we went into a snow cave. I had 100 shotgun shell. Well, I'll be fine. It's 100 shotgun shell, and I ran out. I think I was the first one that ran out. Like you can't be too prepared.
No, definitely not. And speaking of that, triple check your loadout before you leave the base. Not when you get to the cave, not when you're entering, and sure as heck not when you're down at the artifact. Before you leave the base, triple check your gear, the loadout you have, that you have your lesser antidote, you have food and water, your tame has a saddle with decent HP on it, it is fully healed, you don't need to force feed it right now. Anything that is not fully healed
We
or
for
fixed, repair it.
we forgot to mention sleeping bags. Sleeping bags. They're very heavy, but they're very useful. They can save you a
Yes.
lot of time because sometimes if you're doing a new cave, you're trying to find your way or whatever. Sometimes stuff spawn behind you. So if you got mega rabies, you don't have a less antidote, you know you're gonna die. Throw a sleeping bag down on the ground, and you can come back right away. It's very easy to turn a 15-minute cave into an hour ordeal.
Oh, easily. It could be a real bad situation if you're not setting sleeping bags down. So thank you for remembering that. We talked about finding a mountain of sleeping bags, but didn't talk about why. It's because you need to respawn when you goof up. It can make the difference between being able to get back to your tame before it dies and losing your tame, you know?
Yep. Yep.
Follow a map if you need to. If you're like me and you're going to struggle once these caves that all look identical take 5 or 6 different turns, if you're not a spelunking spectacle like QC Survivor is, then you're going to probably want to check a map. No shame in that, opening it up on your phone or on a computer or something. That way you know where you're going. And that's okay. That's cool. It's great. Uh, Once you get into the cave and you see these hordes, you see these big pulls of dinos, we're calling them, try your best to pull them in as small of quantities as you can. What I mean by that is if you have crossbows and you see some spiders between you and some lava, blast those bad boys. Let them run into the lava. Kite them off one at a time. No big deal. Let them take themselves out. If you see bats, feel free to try to pick one off and have 2 or 3 come at you instead of 20 or 30. Like, fighting in smaller numbers is not shameful, it's not cowardly, it is just intelligent.
I agree with that. And taking your time is one of the most important part. Sometimes people rush when they see a drop, and chances are that in that drop you're gonna get something better than your entire gear that you're risking by rushing is not worth it. Like take your time. Take your time. Worst case, you'll come back, but take your time.
Exactly. It'll be there as long as you're not rushing to beat somebody else that's like actively sprinting at that drop before you. Like, there's really no need to rush. That's the only scenario I can think of.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, if you are Sorry, I'm in a cave right now as well, trying to find a dung beetle. So I'm like trying to talk and also not run into these spiders because I'm on foot.
Are you
Um,
going for color or level?
I'm just going for
I know
dung
you like
beetles. I really have
colors.
no preference. I do like
Oh,
colors.
okay.
Yeah, I am here for it. But at this point, a dung beetle is a dung beetle. Um,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I'm following behind somebody because there's. Oh, I said there's nothing, but then all of a sudden the onyx spawned in front of me. All right, so turning around. Um, Focusing back up, kiting the dinos one at a time, blah, 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 blah. So avoid the Perlovia, they're going to dismount you. Avoid the Arthrolepleura, they're going to acid spit you. The bats can overrun you, swarm you, and give you rabies. Like, these are just things that you need to be aware of when you're pulling the dinos to try to minimize the hits from them.
Yep.
Um,
100%.
if you are stressing about temperature, primitive gear, be it uh, fur or ghillie, whatever it is, the primitive sets of stuff combined with a high damage otter. Again, it's got to be damage. You cannot go in with a high health otter. A high damage otter will mitigate most of the freezing and hot temperatures that you're facing. And then the consumables that we've talked about will get most of the rest of it. So, I mean, as long as you're not going into the really hard ice cave, you should be good with a good otter, some primitive gear, and a super chili, you know?
Yeah, I agree. But if you're ready to go into like ice cave, you don't really need gear. But if you're ready to go into snow cave, which is the really hard one, you're most likely gonna have good gear by then. And if you're not, and you're just a new guy that goes into snow cave for the first time, I want to be a friend. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, you're the type of person that we like to play with. So if that's your mentality, then feel free to join the Discord and then hop on into the tribe because that's pretty cool. Um, let's see. Up next, we have. It sounds like it's pretty straightforward, and it is. The caves work best brute force. It is very possible to speed run every single one of these caves and avoid everything, not stress about fighting anything, dodge it all, and then get in, get out, do what you got to do. That's possible, but everything works so much better if you just brute force and kill everything in the cave. That's the way to go. That's the recommended path for almost every single one of these caves. There's just no need to try to risk speed running it. That's how you get bogged down and how you get pinned. The ocean caves are the only caves that I actually recommend speed running.
I like to play the game as it was meant to be played, and I'm pretty sure we're meant to kill them. So,
Oh,
and we have the sneaky cave, the Skylord cave that you can get in and out 9 times out of 10 without encountering any single spider or on it. So we got that sneaky gameplay, I guess, over there. So yeah, I like killing them. Plus, you get so many resources. Like we're getting so many chitin. We haven't had cementing paste issue in I don't know how long. Like you need
very,
those
very true.
resources.
That is true. There's really no bad part about fighting everything except for like, the damage and risk of death. But again, that is the point of the game.
Except
You
those.
will you will learn, adapt, overcome. um so there are really high level trilos and piranha. They can be fished for cool gear because piranhas are great, but you have to like sit down on a bench to fish, so you're not going to be actively doing a whole lot of fishing in these caves. But fun fact, when they come out, um, fish baskets. I don't think they're out yet. I think they come with scorched earth, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, something
But
like this.
you were always able to catch those piranhas and trilobites with the fish baskets, and then all of a sudden you can bring them back. So if you can get a mated pair of, level 360 piranhas to put in a moat around your base and you breed the crap out of them, nothing's going to get there. So that's a fun little thing to do for defense in your water pens if you wanted to. Not necessary, but just a little, fun fact of the day for you, I guess.
Sure, those are
Uh,
good. I like those fun facts. You never know where they're gonna lead you. You learn one thing
yeah,
and then you learn three more.
and another fun fact for you, since you got me on the subject of enjoying them, the little ammonites? They look like itty bitty little squids with snail shells.
Yep.
Yeah, those are all over in the ocean cave. And fun fact to the day, if you bite one, they Hershey squirt right in your face, give you a little fart cloud, and that fart cloud attracts and pisses off nearby
Yeah, it does
dinos.
like a rare
Just
flower. It does the same thing of a
yeah,
rare flower.
it
Yeah, I
sure
know
does.
about that. Yep.
And boy howdy, I don't do oceans. I don't do fish. I don't do critters like that. And when they all start charging me from all directions, my wife was still up. She was making fun of me before she went to bed a couple days ago. I was down in the ocean. I was trying to get into this artifact cave. I was sitting there talking to her, and all of a sudden my voice goes up like 6 pitches and octaves. And in the middle of our conversation, she's like, "Why is your voice so high right now?" There's 15 megalodon chasing me. Like, what are you talking about? No, it's not. Fine.
But a rare flower can be hard enough to deal with on land. Just in the ocean, that's just like a recipe for that, or just a really, really, really funny reel.
Gosh, that would honestly be a fun little video to do. Have a bunch of people line up in one spot of the map and try to race either on raft or by foot to the opposite corner of the map, and you have to be, spamming rare flowers the entire. Maybe make you spam rare flowers every 60 seconds. You got to eat 6 of them or something like that. 10 of them every 60 seconds.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That
You'd
would be
have to
fun.
have checkpoints or something. Otherwise, you can. Oh, but yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be so funny. Yeah, get to the other side of the map, find your way. That's it. But people would kill
Good
themselves and
lord.
just spawn on the other side. You'd have to have people follow with RGs just to make sure that they're not cheating. Or
That, or
have
you
it
could
on
have
hardcore. You die, you're dead.
true.
Last one standing.
You could set up checkpoints, give people the coordinates to mark on their hotbars and on their maps and stuff, and you have to check in with Joe Daddy at X coordinate, and then you have to check in with QC at this coordinate, and then go to Allo for the finish line at this coordinate.
Nah,
That way,
nobody's
if you don't
checking in
check
with
all
me. I'm
three,
participating, man.
all right, then I'll check in with them because I'm sure as hell not swimming
I'll
in that
take the
ocean.
ball. I'll take the ball of rare flower.
I am definitely not participating in that, so
All
have
right,
fun
back
with
to
that.
cave. Back to cave.
Yeah, focus, focus. We're almost done.
I
Sorry, I
feel
know it's
like I
getting
feel
late.
like I don't know where we're gonna talk about it, but I feel like we haven't talked about fortitude.
Jeez, see, how do we skip over that? I
Like
mentioned my
that's like
fortitude being 6 and all
everything
that,
that
but
we've talked about so far can be not not canceled but reduced. Like every effect can be reduced by just having higher level of fortitude.
yeah, that is very much so true. What is your fortitude level at? Like, what is it on your stats?
Right now, because I started leveling up again, I'm at 22. But I was at
22.
18 for a while. And fortitude is going to help you with torpor. It's going to help you with thirst, hunger, cold, heat. It's going to help you with everything. Like fortitude, I don't think you need it if you're just going to tame and play like on ground, I guess. Like build base and craft and everything. But if you're going to start caving, fortitude is more important than anything.
Absolutely. You must have a good fortitude. My fortitude is, yeah, dang it, Steven. Joe Daddy punches me one more time, I swear to God. I'm going to go destroy his bed and then kill him. Um, let's see. Yeah, so fortitude, extremely important. I think that's going to, between fortitude, a consumable, and an otter, you might not even need primitive gear for most of the caves.
Yeah, I can run lava gear naked with 22 fortitude and I don't suffer the heat or anything like this. I can go into Skylord naked and just get the artifact and hang around and try to get the drops. Naked, I get back to my base and I don't die. Fortitude is pretty much key to caving, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I absolutely
Well,
agree. I can't
caving
believe
is
we took this
there's
long.
no key to caving. Caving is a whole. Like if you mess up one part, you're done.
Yeah, you have to not be afraid to just call it a wash and try again, go back, restock, revisit what you missed and what you need to change and try again. No shame in that.
Absolutely. I just
Um,
got kicked out.
I did too.
Okay, good. So I just. All right. So
Last
caving.
last little bit. Yeah, caving. Last little bit I've got here. There's a boatload of explorer notes inside of those caves, so make sure you're hitting the explorer notes. Make sure you're activating that bonus XP to utilize more. Utilize more of that. You're going to be fighting a lot of things. And some of these things, like a dung beetle, is like 8 XP per one that you kill. That doesn't really matter. But all the other things that are going to be swarming you, when you get a swarm of 30 bats coming at you, that adds up really, really quickly. And I might be being dramatic right now, but I feel like I'm not when I say that I have added 30 plus levels in one cave run. Not on me, on my dinosaur.
That can be easily done, especially if you know what you're doing. Like if you can plan them because you can only use them once. I suggest you try to double them and not use them the first time you run the cave. When you get confident with the cave, you can just like group up a lot of people, a lot of monsters, I guess, dinos or whatever, and then you can really get advantage of that. I think it gets like 4 times, 8 times. I don't know what it is with 2 nodes, but it stacks up. And let's say the artifact of the Devourer on Cardinal Island. If you're confident enough to get that swarm of Onyx at the bottom, which is not easy, but it's quite doable. The trick, in my opinion, is to hug the wall so they glitch into the wall and they can just swerve away. But that's a good way to get XP. Explorer nodes, you can only use them once, but it's an awesome way to get XP. You can get a tame from level 210 to 260, 250, 240 in a cave in no time.
Yeah, easily. And when you are doing those big pulls, he was talking about, pulling the big Onyx and stuff like that. The Onyx are tougher because they fly, so you're going to have to fight those. Glitching them into the rock, like QC mentioned, is probably the way to go. It's a lot more convenient. However, if you're looking at these land-based critters, I mentioned earlier you could try to shoot one or two of them to try to kite them your way, maybe kite them into some lava if there's a lava pool between you and them. But another easy peasy way to do it is with a pheromone dart and a sacrificial dino. If you have some extra dino that, isn't anything too crazy, that, easy to breed out, you brought an extra wolf with you or something like that, and you're just a monster and you have nothing to lose, why not shoot a pheromone dart? I'm pretty sure pheromone darts are in Survival Ascended right now, aren't they?
That's cold. That's cold.
Yeah. Yep. You're going to shoot one of your
God.
dinos, or even a tribe mate. If you got Joe Daddy in the cave with you, shoot him with a pheromone
Yeah,
dart.
I could see that.
And
I could see that.
everything.
Yeah. Don't shoot your tame. Shoot Joe Daddy.
Yeah, don't shoot your tame. Shoot Joe Daddy. Joe Daddy respawns. Your tame doesn't. So if you shoot Joe Daddy with a pheromone dart and you have him stand right on the edge of the lava, everything is going to pull directly into that lava pool coming after him. So that's a fun little way to do it. A rare flower would work just as well, and I guess individually pulling them with stone arrows would work as well too. But if you're pushed for time and you've got extra pheromone darts and you have a Joe Daddy in your tribe, why not? They've got it coming, right, Joe Daddy?
I think we've covered it. What else are we missing?
The only thing I've got left, any tips and tricks we missed, but I feel like we have gotten all of them. Fun fact, once you get a transmitter, you can put boss tributes in the transmitter to activate boss fights from your transmitter, I believe now.
Okay.
So once you get these artifacts, that's going to make, setting up for the boss fight a lot easier. No more of the days where you're going to have to load up 15 Rexes on a Quetzal and roll out like it's World War II.
Yeah. I think we should maybe give quick guide path for the cave that are very easy to find. The artifacts. Like, I like YouTube videos, like everybody, but some of them, because we could like wrap all of them under like 40 seconds if people like wanted to know them.
Yeah. Do you think we should talk through it, or do you think you and I should make like a video series on it?
No, but like literally we can just do it now. There's no time like the moment. And if people want to do a video, that's like, I'm sure you and Jericho can do it and get something really nice. But you got Central Cave that no matter path you take, you're going to end up at the same place. So don't worry about it. Just keep going forward. As long as you're going down, you're going towards the artifact. So we got one done.
Boom.
You got Lava Cave. All you have to do is hug the right, hug the right, hug the right, and you're going to get to the artifact. I suggest not jumping over lava with your tame because like Matt said, the tame doesn't respawn. I suggest grappling over with 2 grappling hooks. There's no point in saving one. And when you want to come back, just hug the left and you're back home. Skylord Cave, you can do that same thing. You just hug the right and you get right to the artifact. You can jump with a grappling hook, or you can keep hugging the right and you're going to get to the artifact without grappling hook. and when you come back, hug the left, and you're done. We've got the artifact of the pack. I don't remember. I think it's Upper South Cave. You just keep going down until you get to that central lake with the runes, and then you just shoot with your grappling hook to that crevasse that you can see on the upper right side, and that's the shortcut to the artifact. That's 5 right there, I think. And Lower South Cave, I don't remember it by heart because I don't usually go there because the drops are not that great.
Yeah, that one's just once you get the artifact a few times, it's pretty straightforward. If I remember correctly, the Lower South Cave is the same concept as the first one. It's in and out, one direction. As long as you're going down, you're going towards the artifact, and as long as you're going up, you are going towards the exit.
So yeah, I like videos and tutorial like everybody, but I like simple advice. Just most of the time hug the right, you're gonna be good to go.
Yep. And the last little bit that I want to leave you guys with before we say goodbye here, real quick, my personal reviews of dinos that I have used that people swear for caving. Correct me on any of these that you disagree with, QC. The wolf is good. It's quick, but it's too squishy. It hits hard, collects a lot of chitin, but it's too squishy. Not recommended.
I would use the
like
wolf for
6 out of 10.
I would use the wolf for the 3 jungle cave. 10s out of 10, and that one
Yes.
after that it drops in the rating.
Yeah, from 10 out of 10 to the 3 easy jungle ones down to like a 5 or 6 out of 10 for the
Oh
other
yeah,
ones.
yeah, 5 or 6, 5 or 6. I wouldn't go there with a wolf by myself.
No. Sabers, I say those are legends if you have a good saddle. I would rate those a solid 8 out of 10 in most caves, 10 out of 10 in the easy ones.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Right now, if we're ranking them with the fact that we don't have cryopods, what can we get that are better
True.
than sabers? Like beside, well, I mean, you
Not
can always
much.
raise baby into them. You can always raise baby, but let's not get into that because then there's too many options.
True.
I would say 9 out of 10 because they're amazing, but there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's fair. And then the last one that we've used in a cave, sure, Megatherium are supposed to be the champion, but they're too big. Rexes are okay where they fit, but they're too big, so you'd have to breed those. We're not getting into that. But the last one that I personally have used, aside from the Ichthy, which is great for in and out, 2 out of 10 for combat, 9 out of 10 for running away, the Raptor is the last one that I've used in a cave so far in this game. And in my opinion, the health mitigation from the saddle puts them above the wolf, but the low damage output, the low DPS, puts them below a saber. Not low, but lower than a saber, enough that it's a significant difference. I'd put them at 8 out of 10 on the easy ones and a 6 or 7 out of 10 on the hard ones.
Okay, I'm gonna go on the other way. For the Raptor, if I'm cold, I'm gonna put it like 6 out of 10 on pretty much everything. But if I'm being emotional with it, I'm gonna go, it's like 11 out of 10 because that's your entry point. You can literally tame a level 90 Raptor on your first day on the Ark if you're lucky and get a blue drop that has a blue saddle, and that's it. You're good to go to the first 3 caves. Like, I would say the Raptor for me is the best one in caves because it's your entry point. That's the only reason I would rank it higher than the other one, because it could go to the I think I brought one to the lava cave, and you can still get it on day 1. It's very hard to get a saber tooth on day 1. Like, it's doable, but it's very hard. Plus, you won't get the saddle unless you're very good at leveling and you're doing a note run and whatnot.
Right. I have to agree with that. That's very fair. Well, as far as caving goes, do you have anything that you've had a lot of fantastic things that have like really been beneficial to this discussion that I would not have thought of and definitely would have forgotten of? So do you have anything?
Caving, no, I think we've covered it. I'd say get properly prepared and then just go in. Go in, practice, figure you're gonna die a few times and then you're gonna get better and then you're gonna get great and then you're gonna get the best loot in the game. Because I think the best loot in the game is very farmable and it's in caves.
Yeah, yeah, the caves are where it's at for getting these drops, getting these items. If you want to progress to the end game level, then once you hit mid game, it's time to start going caving and getting these drops. It's the only way to get to end game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Well, it makes everything easier. Just having a Rex with Ascendant saddle is basically indestructible.
It sure as heck is.
Do you want to do update for the tribe or that's it? Because I know it's been a long episode already.
Yeah, it has been a long episode. We're getting up there, so I wanted to do just a little tribe spotlight section because we're gonna do this with all of our tribe mates. It was your idea. I wanted you to be able to go first. What would you like to tell the Stranded Survivors fan base about yourself as an ARK player, about yourself as a person? Like, spotlight's on you right now, man. We want to hear about you, our secret de facto leader. You know, I may be the tribe leader, but I definitely think that a lot of our leadership expertise and like just all of our all around gusto has been attributed towards you and your leadership. So can you tell us a bit about you?
I think I'm not that great, and you're painting quite a picture of me. Uh, but no, I'm just learning every day while I play, and that's it. Like if this Ark's an easy game if you just take the time to learn it, and yeah, you guys are painting quite a picture of me. I'm not that great. I'm not that great. I die every day. I think I'm the one that dies the most, and that's part of the game. Just enjoy it, accept it, enjoy it.
That is very true. I mean, it is part of the game, sure, but the only reason you're dying is because you're doing things like caving and stuff like that. If you were sitting at base dying 7 times a day, then I'd have questions for you. But when you're consistently in the most dangerous areas of the Ark, you are going to consistently probably experience death. So that's to be expected.
I am one who tries again.
What got you into Ark in the first place? Because, like, for me, this was just a way for me to mess around and play with dinosaurs. This is how it all started, and then it grew into this, like, big ol' addiction, fun game. So, how did you discover this game?
Oh, I've. Oh, that's funny. Um, I was bored on the day the game came out, and I fell upon it by happenstance, and that's it. I mean, who doesn't like dinosaur? Who doesn't like surviving? Who doesn't like challenges and something that's just hard and hard and hard? Because no matter how long you've played the Ark, it's gonna remain hard. It's most likely gonna remain hard. I mean, yeah,
Absolutely.
that's it. It's just plain dumb luck.
It's just plain dumb luck, he says. Well, we're glad you're here, man. We're glad that you are a member of our tribe. We're glad you're a member of the Discord. Thankful that we had the opportunity to meet you. That's one of the magical parts about this game is all these awesome connections that can be made, and we're thankful for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm thankful for the tribe. Everybody's awesome. Can't wait to see the other. Can't wait to hear the other podcast with the other guy. Arlo's awesome. Joe Daddy's always funny. Cal's like I think Cal's the funniest one, and Jericho. Well, the other host, you guys know him. So no, it's awesome. Can't wait. Can't wait to add new players. I'm actually gonna start building the base higher this week. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna start building the base up a little bit. I've got some plans for like the crafting area and our greenhouse and like everything where across the river where we started. I've got big plans for that area that I'll talk to you about later off mic, or a different day when it's not so late. But
Yeah, yeah.
I
I'm,
just
I'm
took a
waking up
screenshot
soon.
as I yeah, sorry. As I returned back to base, I just took a screenshot of everything that QC has built here. Alos helped a lot. Joe Daddy and Cal helped a lot as well. But I just took a screenshot of the condos, the famous condos that we have talked so much about. And this guy who's sitting here like, oh, yeah, you give me too much credit, blah, blah, blah. I'm just learning every day and I don't really know what I'm doing. Bullcrap. I logged off, put my kids to bed, ate dinner, and logged back on, and he had built an entire bridge and stuff going across a giant ravine from the 2 bases we have, and a ramp going up and down so we can walk stuff up it. Like, dude's a workhorse. Dude's a legend. I'll post that picture in the Discord here so everyone can appreciate what
It's
I'm
only
talking
pillar
about and how
ceiling.
modest this dude is.
It's only pillar and ceiling, man. Anybody can do that.
Yes, but the effort, the initiative, see, he's too modest. All right, I digress. Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we end this wonderful episode?
As you were talking, I just picked perfect Ascended Places on Shadow. That's it. Like, it's a numbers game. Run caves like nonstop. Oh, okay. I feel like I should mention the little fast travel system I have. Like, maybe I can do it under 2 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, if you can, because it's not always easy. People pillars and everything, and they reserve land. What I do is I have a 2x2 base near every cave entrance, and I leave a tame in there, and beds, and preserving bins, and storage, and I just run cave using fast travel. So I would have theoretically like 4 or 5 saber-tooth and 4 and 5k different 2x2 base around the cave's entrance all around the map, and then you can jump in and just fast travel through them, because a lot of them you can get a drop without even fighting stuff. So I would run, like, I find a lot of stuff, but I'll run 12 caves and I'll come back with 3 good items, but they're 3 very good items. But it's a numbers game. You just
Boom.
gotta run them, and that's it. If you can cut travel time,
Absolutely.
that's the way to go.
Absolutely. That's a pro tip right there.
So yeah, that's it. I think that's it. That's like almost 2 hours, man. I feel like we should push 2 minutes. No editing. That's gonna cut it down to 150.
Yeah, editing's going to cut it down to at least about 150. So this is the almost the 2-hour episode that we were hoping to get.
Exactly.
But I appreciate you. Appreciate you for being here, QC. Thanks for stepping up when Jericho was unavailable tonight on such short notice. That was awesome of you.
That's all right.
And for those of you that made it this far into the into this episode, link to the Discord in the description. Yeah, you guys are legendary. Join our Discord and tell us all about how awesome you are. Join the official PVE tribe. For those of you looking for it, the link to the Discord is in the description. You might have to click see more below. But go ahead, click it.
If you want hands-on experience, just join the tribe and I'll bring you caving. I'll bring you everywhere. We'll see.
Boom. All right, folks, you heard it here. All right, I look forward to seeing you all. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great night.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Have a good night.